Hello. Well, I have mixed feelings about the whole blocking policy. I mean, it's like Gary, you started to do your debate videos, and I've always said, through our ups and downs, I've said, hey, you're a lightning rod, you make conversation happen. So, hey, making a debate happens right up your alley, but you're a blocker. You blocked me. I was unblocked, I think, at that moment. You blocked me not too long and unblocked me before. So I'm like, I can't go into a debate with that over my head. It's not worth it. So, on the other hand, I have come to the point of when you block me from a regular channel, it's like, well, that's just the way you use YouTube. It just means that I can't trust you as a debate moderator, but who said you had to be my debate moderator? You don't owe me that. Let the people that feel like they can trust you do it or whatever. I'll still talk to you, but I just don't feel like the word. I don't want to be in the middle of the debate and then I'm up to my rebuttal and I'm blocked because I'm evil. You know, just that one. But mostly you censor yourself because I don't see your videos. And then you're telling Barklord, for example, how to find your video. Yeah, we know, but it's like there's this button called subscribe that does it really easy. Why don't we use that? If you weren't using it for being controlling, then it would work for its normal function. I do feel a little bit censored because you go ahead and do comment to people, which is good in a way. I found out that you're not cutting off the conversation, but as a result, it is censorship because you talk about me and then people in your video that don't even watch my video go, blah, 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 blah. He thinks rocks want to go to the moon? Oh, what a moron. Oh. And, you know, you want to be able to go, actually, that's not what I said. Why don't you watch my video, you know, if you want to have an opinion. So it's not, it's this and that and the other. But then, I was thinking the Do Not God came and I realized I had a reactionary reaction. That's right. I thought, hey, screw that. I'm not going to be isolated into a free speech zone. And I realized, wait a second. He's censoring himself because his videos don't show up in my inbox. Censoring me a little bit too, but, you know, both very mild forms. And yes, I think within your right to use your channel. I've always said that. If you want to have a knitting thing, you can just block people that don't want to talk about knitting. They want to talk about something else. So I don't think philosophy should be done like that, but it's a personal choice. But I realized the Do Not God is definitely not censorship. It's the opposite. As Gary, you should be encouraged. You've opened a channel where the goal is to not block anybody. That could have been like, that's like my main channel. So, yeah, so I want to reply.
Alright, long video coming up. You'll hear lots of videos. And yeah, I'm just going to respond to their videos. There's no point not doing it.
In other words, if you didn't block us in the first place, you're having, if what? You have to justify why you're talking to us when you blocked us, or you could just not block us. Either way would work. But on the other hand, I understand now why you do it. It's hard to explain to other people, but I myself think I understand. So, yes, worthwhile. Yes.
And so, yeah, it's going to be a long video. To me, it has value and substance to get to the core of this thing, and to see through the hypocrisy of these people who complain about insults while they make insult.
Okay, but this is part of the problem, is you don't acknowledge how I've been interacting with you for years. I don't say don't insult me. I might insult you back. I will probably for sure say that insult's lame. It doesn't apply. But I do not say don't insult me. More what I say is, you know, take what you can give. You're going to give something you need to be ready to take. Have a balance. So, yeah.
So, I mean, it's just such a joke. They never get to the subject. They just keep saying, God said the DNA is good.
See, because you block me on another channel, this is the kind of thing where some people are just going to believe that, what you just said. Like I'm a theist. Of course, I don't believe in God. I don't believe in worship of anything. It's more like, as you guys say, once you're alive, you have a vested interest in living. We're already alive. So we're making this decision not as non-existent rocks, but as living things. So you can say, oh, but you're biased. But rational means measuring, taking ratios, comparing things. Okay. And I say as a living creature that we could do a lot better. And I'm planning to do it a lot better before I say the problem is life. Because I say the problem is Nazis and and jerks that don't need to be. I don't believe that people are jerks to each other because otherwise they couldn't survive. Okay. So that's what I actually say.
The DNA says the DNA is good. Trust the DNA. The DNA knows. Thou art that I am the DNA.
Yeah, hello, I am the DNA. What do you not get about this? I don't worship and trust it because it's my God. I am it. It's generating my ideas about it. Yeah, because I am. It's that I believe in will. I'm a tower of things that are generating, a self-biased kind of perspective about its own situation and its own survival and its own system. Yes, that's why. Not because I'm worshiping it. I'm rationally measuring as well. And I admit, my measurements are biased by the fact that I am alive. If I were a rock, I would make a very different, entirely non-existent measurement. Hi, Barklord. I just wanted to discuss a little bit this situation. I mean, first of all, the antinatalists are obviously the psychological aspect.
Again, so this is just this cheap tactic.
You didn't even wait to see what my point, about the psychology was. There's no, it's not off limits to do psychology. I believe it has to be handled with care. But this stuff digs down. At a certain point, we realize we disagree, and we're like, well, I think it's because you're this kind of person. And I try to do it as non-judgmentally as possible, except for there's the opinion in there that is the judgment that can seem blunt to people. But I don't rub salt in the wounds or anything. I think that you guys are trying to... I know you are acting like you're the only ones that care about misery in the world. You're talking to other people that care about misery. There's plenty of people out there that don't care at all. And you are talking to us like we don't care at all. And you're taking this moral high ground when it's obvious that we all care and we're disagreeing with, what to do about it. And a lot of it's philosophical. All antinatalists that I challenge on this, they agree we should make the world a better place in the meanwhile as well. So if we just do that in the here and now, we have a pretty big overlap, right? So, the psychological explanation is because with such an overlap, why do you feel that you have to be the only one that has compassion for the world? Honestly, if you can't see in our conversations my compassion for the world, or Barklord's, that's ridiculous. I mean, you flame off and cuss everybody out and talk about citizens' rights. Everybody's wading through that, going, oh yeah, he cares about the world. He's an asshole, but he cares about the world, or at the very least, well, he thinks he cares about the world. But I acknowledge, and I say, oh, you care about the world, and you're gonna act like you're the only one that does. Well, I'm granting that because it's honest. You don't seem to be being honest. Obviously, I care about the world. So I identify that as a psychological thing. There's not a reason for it. It's not like something I'm saying that is callous against people in the sense that I don't care about suffering, or I want a baby to be tortured so that I can have a good time. That's not what I've been saying at all. You totally miss what I've been saying. You go on and on. I can't go through this whole video. I'm sorry, forget it. But you go on and on about all of these things you say that we're not looking at. And you're not looking at the fact that you always want to say, this guy had a good time and somebody else has to pay for it. When you identify that, that's the slave culture. That's what's wrong with human culture. What's right with hardships is when you get to choose your own hardship because you're choosing your own accomplishment. And that's what makes life feel worthwhile, when one of those happens, or even if you help somebody else get to that point. And it happens all the time on a little scale if you're open to it. Little accomplishments. And if you tend to antinatalism about how hard life is, you should be able to find lots of little accomplishments considering how hard life is. If you have a good morning, little accomplishment. And you are going to mock and go, oh, well, I have much higher standards. You're living in a world that doesn't meet your standards. Those aren't real standards. Don't work like that. We have the same standards. We both find this world acceptable enough to go on living. So bottom line, material standards, regardless of our philosophical standards, which are different, the practical thing works out very much the same / identical. I really would like to go through the whole video. Even though I've watched it, I would enjoy watching it again, but it's a pain. It's actually easier, I guess, when you play the video and do the pause thing, because editing in and out of this editor, I'm not enjoying it. But I'm going to talk to you on this channel, and you know, you can talk however you want. I'm just going to adopt a however I feel stance, plus the I will feel free to expect you to take what you can dish out. But you really need to, if you're going to worry about the insults, you call me evil. You've insulted me for having children, and I think that's fine. I encourage that. This is the philosophical thing. I'm tough. I believe we should be tough and be able to take that kind of stuff. People that are really sensitive, those are my kids. You're telling me they shouldn't exist? Oh, wait, no. You can't tell me that because they already exist, so they're grandfathered in. So what the fuck are you talking about? See, I could get upset about those things. It would be ridiculous. Some contexts, I get right upset about it. In this one, it's part of the conversation to be able to discuss those things. So, you know, you can't go calling me evil and then, you know, I'm supposed to interpret that some way, it's some meaning besides evil. That is an insult. It might be a little lame, indistinct, silly, when you're accusing somebody of being religious and calling them evil at the same time. Silly, okay, and fine, but it sort of separates your little message off in the distance, because then I'm going to speculate, wow, they feel so guilty about, I mean, I didn't speculate at this, but this is even further. They feel so guilty about the terrible things in the world, which really are bad things, that they need to own that issue to satisfy that guilt. And they need to own it in a complete way. It's no good to say, I'm trying. They have to say, I could solve it, but you won't listen to me. So it's not my fault. And you call me evil. My criticism could be just as wrong as your evil comment, but has a lot more information. It's a lot more worth discussing my idea. For one, maybe I'm projecting. You can show, no, it's me that has that idea. Or maybe that idea totally doesn't make sense. And you can go, oh, that's what you think I think? No, I think this. You know, that could be productive. Calling me evil and then whining that I brought up psychology at all, regardless of what it is, that's not productive. Okay, cheers.